I'd like to begin by addressing what unfolded in Washington, D.C. this week. What we witnessed was an assault on democracy by violent rioters, incited by the current president and other politicians.
That's the toughest language we've heard from him yet, and something worth repeating. The Prime Minister of Canada says the President of the United States incited the violent siege at the U.S. Capitol. Now, Justin Trudeau's remarks coming Friday, just as momentum is building south of our border to evict Donald Trump from the White House. The storming of the U.S. Capitol by a violent pro-Trump mob prompting calls from Democrats and a handful of Republicans to remove Trump from office before his term ends in about a week and a half. As concern mounts among top lawmakers that Trump could do real damage before his exit.
You'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi met with Democrats Friday to consider impeachment proceedings as soon as next week. If the vice president and cabinet don't invoke the 25th Amendment to force Trump out. In a statement, Pelosi saying in part, if the president does not leave office imminently and willingly, the Congress will proceed with our action. If the House vote goes ahead, Trump would be the only American president impeached twice. If the Senate moves to kick him out of office, they could also take steps to prevent him from running for election again.
We have a president in the Oval Office who incited violence against Congress.
The president of the Constitutional Accountability Center says while the timeline to impeach would be tight, it could still be done.
It would not take the House very long to draw up those articles of impeachment, and the evidence is clear, and the Senate could decide very quickly what to do. Of course, that would require the Senate and the House to reconvene because they're both in recess. But when you have a constitutional crisis of this magnitude, that doesn't seem too much to ask.
The flag at the U.S. Capitol lowered Friday to honor U.S. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, who died of injuries suffered while responding to Wednesday's attack. The FBI and Washington's police department are investigating his death, and the FBI is offering a reward for information on who placed pipe bombs in the committee headquarters of both political parties in Washington. American law enforcement also searching for a long list of suspects pictured at the Capitol. And the U.S. Justice Department says Richard Barnett, ID'd as the man who sat at Pelosi's desk during the siege, has been arrested and is facing 3 federal charges, including theft of public property. And not a shocker, an RSVP by tweet. Trump says he will not be attending Joe Biden's inauguration on January 20th. That'll be the first time in more than 150 years that an American president doesn't go to the swearing in of his successor. Joe Biden reacting Friday saying it's a good thing that Trump's not going. Melissa Duggan, City News.